right, today's learning objective, we're going to receive information about roar lessons, moving forward, be introduced to incentives and how they fit into our school-wide positive behavior support. All right, before we do that, so we're going to, like we said, and for those of you that for those of you that have come around to the team and department meeting so far, one of the great suggestions that we had from one of the groups was that in terms of input, feedback, and communication, to do a share out from each of the committees that work at different parts of the year on different initiatives. So we're going to do just a quick 20-second update on various things, and if you're not loud like me, if you want to say it from your seat, if you feel everyone can hear it, project, that's great. If not, just come on up to the mic and you can use the mic too to share out. So, wellness, Chris, do you want to give a quick update?
Sure. We'll start on the lighter side. Come out and be well. This Friday, there's still time to sign up for soup chili, and this year we've added dessert cook-off. It's always a lot of fun. I know for me, never get to talk to anyone at any other grade level, so it's a good time for all the grade levels to get together and sit different people that you never see. Also, in February we have the Valentine's Day cake, which will be on Friday the 13th, lunchtime or right after lunchtime. And our annual Mad Max, I can't believe we have the whole place to ourselves because Penn State is on spring break that week afternoon. Attitude adjustment starts at 4:30. And we have end of PSSA celebrations. We have some donuts and juice. That's April 29th. And we're still planning another event for May, and of course,
Thank you, Chris. And just real quick, can all the wellness people just stand up for 1 second? So if there is any input or suggestions that we can contact any of these folks, I'd be happy if you have some other suggestions for the group too, to let us know. Okay, next group, how about PSSA, the PSSA committee? If anyone can give a quick update. Jeff, do you want to, since your mouth is full?
Sorry, we were having a basketball clock emergency too, that's why I was running around talking to Sharon. With the PSSA committee, we are testing. We're having 3 fairs. The 3 fairs are the same fairs we've had in the past. The schedule is being adjusted, so I guess we're going to need to work with the other committees, like the health committee and the multicultural committee and the STEM committee, to make sure that they have their schedules in place so we can get all that stuff updated. And then the 4th day, I guess there's a test. Did I get that right?
Yeah, there's one math section.
And we will run on a 2-hour delay class schedule that day.
After about an hour of team time.
Right. So there's like a test, and then there's some kind of downtime, and then it's a 2-hour delay class schedule. And that's the last day of testing. So is there anything else you could think of?
Anything else for the rest of the committee? And we'll keep you updated each faculty meeting. We have a faculty meeting dedicated to PSSAs specifically. Can the PSSA group just stand for a moment so everyone knows who to contact if there's something that I need to be aware of? Thank you. Okay, STEM. Phil, since you're the leader.
Met a couple times. We're putting the thing together. I was already given a schedule, so I hope that's the one we're following. If we're going to change it, it would be nice if we change it before we plan on the schedule we were already given. And we're trying to get some new vendors.
Okay. And STEM folks, can you please stand so everybody can see who you are? Is there anything? Okay, thank you. All right, next committee, diversity. I know that you guys have met at least once. Jamie?
I can speak. Diversity, we're working on multicultural fair. The students are working on their displays. Hopefully it'll be as good as last year. That's about it.
And diversity folks, can you please stand up so everyone knows who your committee is? Okay, thank you. All right, so who am I missing?
Wellness or healthcare. Health.
Health. Health committee, Matt or Andrea?
We're contacting folks to get people in, very hands-on, just like in the past, massages, all that good stuff. So we're working hard to get people in.
Health committee. So we can see health committee. Thank you.
And one last request. It's a plea. Saturday, January 31st, we just got our numbers back. The registrar, Wilson, just got them from the registration of all the schools. We have about 426 kids here on January 31st, all day. They'll be competing in about 60 different events, middle school, high school students. So we're looking for as many judges as we get. Breakfast, lunch, 6 hours of Act 48 credit. And any of you that are working with student teachers or know how I can contact some additional student teachers, we're doing everything we can to pull in Penn State groups. But with those kind of numbers, we're going to need all the help we can get. So if any of you can put up a little time for us, some of the people have already volunteered, we really appreciate that. And any of you that can put that on your calendar, we really would appreciate any help. Thanks.
Train time.
Trade time? I don't know.
Probably not.
You'll got to talk to Jackie about that.
I'll meet you tomorrow.
Quick update from the block scheduling committee. The last meeting, we're kind of in a holding pattern right now. We're looking at to see what the high school is doing. And so we're going to be looking at another meeting and deciding whether or not we want to do another survey or what approach where we want to go with that. Block scheduling committee this round, can you please stand up so people can see who you are if you're on that committee? And if you were on the previous committee in the last year, can you also stand up so people can see who you were last year? Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, so Larry has a quick update in terms of the recent survey on bells and
Okay, first of all, thank everyone for responding to the survey that was sent out yesterday. A couple of things that come out of the survey, and we looked at, this is kind of in advance for the Chromebooks going to be distributed to the 7th graders as well as our 6th graders. However, this end of the day dismissal has kind of been all over the place from the beginning of the year. So, but based on the survey results, we were looking at actually sending everyone back to home base at 3:05. Well, as we looked through the results from yesterday, there were some excellent comments on some things to maybe look at that actually might be a win-win-win for everybody. And I want to thank Andy Cunningham for that. He has lived the life of the Chromebook world, so he knows what it's like to get those back on the cards, and he knows where he walks around the building, he'll see them almost anywhere, because kids are in a rush to get out. So what we're attempting to do, and this isn't going to happen tomorrow, but this is something that we're going to be looking at, implementing. Basically using the bus waves. The bus waves are typically 314 and 317. Through some conversations, the bus first wave is 314, second is 317. Apparently the bells are going off at 312.
We changed that. You guys changed that.
Well, I think I had some meetings today and they said they were still going off at 312. So I'm going to get that looked at, but here's what the thought is. At 310, students who are in their area will actually be dismissed from their area basically as the first wave. So at 3:10, when that bell rings, students who are in first wave will be dismissed from their area to go to their locker, put their Chromebooks back, and get out on the bus. All right? A second wave would leave at 3:14. So you may have an area that have a mix of first wave and second wave students. Those students would stay with you until 3:14. That bell dismisses them. They do the same. Chromebooks are back, they go to their locker, they're out the door. So it doesn't cut into area time. It gives students a little minute or two in some cases, more time to get their things and get out. And the faculty and staff don't feel like you have to police the kids all the time to get them to where they belong. So that was based on the survey that came out yesterday. Now, some questions that came up, If you have an area and you're not in your home base, you would leave at 3:10 and go back to your home base, so you'll have the second wave kids with you. Okay? So the first wave kids are gone at 3:10. You would take the other handful of kids, wherever you have, the second wave back to your home base, and then they would be dismissed at 3:14. Okay? So those are some things that came up. We may have missed something. If we have, let me know. I have to get James in here to kind of look at the bells again and make sure we're synced up at 3:10 and 3:14. Yeah, some of the results, those that like the new bell system, there was, I think 65 responded. We had 92% of the building like the new bell system, 8% did not. The Chromebook distribution, so once the Chromebooks are deployed, would you like to have the whole school dismissed to home base at 3:05? According to this, the results, 84% would have been in favor of that. But based on the comment section from the survey, we were able to come up, I think, with something better. So it made a better informed, more informed decision. So thank you for those that responded. I think we're going to try this, and I think there's something now. Yes, Kathleen.
But 6th grade still goes back at 3:05.
Yes. 6th grade will go back at 3:05, correct. Okay? Marty.
We get a bell for that?
For 3:05? I'll put an order in for the bell. You got it. All right? Thank you.
Could be a different sound?
Do we have different sounds?
Maybe forest animals? Maybe, I don't know.
All right, thank you, Mr. Walker. Mr. Harper.
Okay, as you have heard, we are moving to one Roar Day per cycle, and it's going to be on day 4 for everybody. So that changes our set of lessons down. We have 14 total lessons to go. There's 1 in January, 3 in February, April, March, and 4 in May, and then we're done. We're going to be mailing out that new schedule to you on Friday, and there are 2 tabs in the window. One has kind of the day by day, day 1 through 6. Tells you when they are. The second tab on the bottom actually has the link to the lessons. They're just like before, they're all hyperlinked there, so you'll have that. We're still going to continue to send out the email to you monthly. The monthly email you get for February is going to have January 28th lesson in. So the one you get on Friday is going to be the February set, but the last one in January is also in there. I think that's it. The Roar Committee sharing out. Oh, that's not me. So, if you have any questions, email Alex or me and we'll get back to you. But I think this is going to work out great.
Thank you, Mr. Harper. Roar Committee.
Last time we met, we talked about how we would be looking at acknowledgements for our next meeting. The agenda's up there, acknowledgement overview. We're going to break out into our extended teams here at the end, just like we did the last faculty meeting. And if we'll have time, we'll share, although I'm not sure there'll be enough time to actually share. We'll maybe have to share the results with you at a later time. Acknowledgements. The purpose of having acknowledgements, a school-wide acknowledgement system, is to provide immediate, intermittent, and long-term reinforcements given by adults in the building to any students displaying desired school-wide behaviors, expectations, and associated rules. Why do we develop this system? We developed it because we want to increase the likelihood of desired behaviors being repeated, to focus on staff and student attention on desired behaviors, foster a positive school climate, and ultimately to try to reduce the need for engaging in time-consuming disciplinary measures. Components of a school-wide acknowledgement system. It's a multi-layered system. It will be a multi-layered system once we have it in place. There's immediate or high frequency or tangible acknowledgements. I know that when we watched that video, for those of you who were here for the in-service day, we talked, the video talked a lot about a lot of the immediate high frequency types of things that they do in their school by handing out acknowledgement cards once a week. An example of this will be the Roar card. We're going to have a Roar card of some sort that we'll be able to hand out, and that's something that we need to discuss as a group as to how much we want to hand out. And approximately 150 students in the building if we only did 1 ticket a week per teacher, we would only reach about 100 students per week. If you talked about having teachers and faculty or paras, lunch people, custodians, things like that involved, which would only be about 12% of the student population. If we did 3 tickets per teacher or per adult in the building per week, we would reach about 40%. 5 tickets or 1 per day would reach about 60% of the student population. Now that's assuming that each student that gets one is a different student, and that's probably not going to be the case either. An example of this is, like I said, the Roar Guards, but also the school store, which the science department is looking at, has come up with a plan that they were going to start here at the end of this school year. So Heath, if you want to give a quick overview of what that's going to look like.
During our department time, after our previous meeting about school-wide positive reinforcement, we started talking about possible hurdles to overcome, and the numbers that Chris pointed out was a big part of what we're trying to look at. Funding is obviously a big hurdle all the time. So we've come up with the idea of what about a school store? And the discussion is when do we do it? So we have 2 possible time frames. First one being at the end of the day dismissal, the kids grab a snack or something to get on the bus and way home. You saw the basketball kids lined up at the vending machine when we came into the meeting today. And that's a perfect opportunity to generate some funds that way. And then in the morning during the commons, we can't sell food because we don't want to compete with the cafeteria staff. So we're actually thinking about school supplies, pencils, pens, notebooks, things of that nature. And we actually did a lot of surveying of our students to see what would you be interested in. And it was actually surprising the number of kids that actually said, hey, we need to buy school supplies. And when you talk to the kids, some of them, they just don't get to the store to buy it, which was kind of surprising to us. We thought it would be all about the food and the snacks, which were big things that they were interested in. Well, the school supplies were kind of surprising. So the idea, keeping track of it was our big hurdle. So we put together a spreadsheet, and the idea of the spreadsheet is we wanted it to serve as a cash register that students could run. So keep track of costs, sales, and at the same time, it will keep track of the items sold. So our theory is, and what we're going to have to work out number-wise is, for every item we sell, we're going to mark it up a set amount. So let's say we can buy a bag of chips for 15 cents. We're going to mark everything up at least a quarter. Okay? So we know for every item we sold, we generated a quarter. So we can set a dollar amount that the kids can use in exchange at the store for whatever goods they want to buy. So we have it set up. We're going to run the store, and where we need to start is figuring out, first of all, what items are going to sell the kids are interested in. We can get an idea of the number of items sold, which will help us figure out what Chris was talking about is how do we balance it, what ratio do we set so that we can reach the maximum number of kids and they still see it as an incentive. So let's say we run it for a week and we have 200 items sold. We can do a 1-for-1, so we would generate 200 tickets, or we could say, each ticket's going to be worth 50 cents, which we would generate half as much. And that's really where we are right now. Is we're going to try to set it up the 4th 9 weeks to get our numbers so that we can come up with a definite plan and tie it in with Chris. Now, the other thing that we talked about is the ticket stubs. We want to have, there's going to be 3 tear-offs. One is actually a certificate they can take home to mom and dad, because we had some people that had experience with this before, and they said kids just wouldn't turn them in because they wanted to take it home and show mom and dad they did it. So there's going to be a tear-off that they take home, show mom and dad. There's going to be a reimbursement that they take, and it has a monetary value to the school store. And the third one, that the office can actually keep track of which kids are getting them and how frequently they're getting them. And it can also go in a pot after they report it for a grand prize drawing later on down the road. So it is that tiered approach. So bear with us. The other thing, I know some people, we talked to Jeff already, that he does the beef sticks after school. We didn't want to step on any toes. So if this is successful, we want to expand the model so that if you have a club, you can sponsor an item at the school store, and we will turn all the profit back to your club. So we'll do the legwork of selling it for you. All you got to do is give us the goods, and we'll move the product for you. So we're trying to not step on toes, facilitate this, and see what goes.
Thanks, Heath. And I know all the science department did a lot of work on this, and we really appreciate it. They came to us with this idea, and we thought it was a great idea. The logistics of it's still being worked out. You guys are already forming area groups for the spring with students who are interested in doing this kind of thing. They're going to be talking with the Roar store across town at the high school, trying to get some clothing items and different items associated with the Roar store across town. Over here, we're still trying to work out, and this is part of our deal, of how are these tickets going to look? What is it going to be worth? You know, how much is a ticket going to be worth and what they can do at the store. Obviously, any student can buy any item they want with their own money at any time, and that's where we get the funding for this. But then they can save their tickets that they earn through school-wide positive behavior to maybe purchase something with the tickets after they've earned a few tickets. So that's where the immediate feedback comes back. Intermittent is we bring a surprise attention to certain behaviors. Maybe there's a behavior that we want to focus on, or that we've been having issues with in the school that we want to try to target for a certain month or a week. Those might be things that we would then be looking at. It's used to maintain top behavior, weekly and monthly drawings. We also have to look at it like this is an immediate situation. They get the ticket, they can take it home, show their parents, they can use it to buy something at the school store. But we also may have buckets sitting up here with other ideas of things that kids could have, and those would be a weekly drawing then, or maybe a monthly drawing. So that's where we're saying raffles or special privilege drawings. Long-term celebrations, these are used to celebrate acknowledgement, accomplishment of things that we're trying to accomplish through school-wide. All students and all adults, examples of this would be maybe beginning of the year assemblies or quarterly assemblies at the end of each marking period or end of the semester, or maybe end of the year party of some sort. Those are the things that we need to work out, and the committee is going to be meeting, the core team of this committee is going to be meeting this Thursday with Don Moss from the IU, and we're going to be off-site going through some of the ideas that you help us with here today. So that's kind of what we're going to be asking here in a few minutes is the school's science department's going to do a great job of helping us come up with one way to reward students, but what we have to keep in mind is school score may not appeal to some kids. So we need to come up with a lot of different things that we can have that kids may get excited about, that they may want to try to earn some things. So, what we need from you is we're going to ask you to break up into your extended teams, just like we did back in November, and we're going to go in and look at what kind of rewards that we can come up with, just kind of brainstorm some ideas on rewards that don't cost anything, rewards that build relationships. That's one of the things with school-wide is we're looking to build relationships, whether that's with students to students, or teachers to students, or adults in the building to students, however we want to look at that. Those are ideas that maybe don't cost anything, but is a way to build some relationships. So there's some examples that each group leader has been given, and we can kind of go through those and hopefully get some ideas, maybe some things that you're already doing that isn't tied to school-wide right now because we don't have a school-wide program, but could be tied to school-wide. So, our breakout rooms are as follows. Craig will be in room 172 with the Wolves. Oh, you can see what's up there. So we have, it's 4 o'clock. We have until 4:25. So we need to be back in this area at around 4:25. So we've got about 25 minutes to go in and discuss this. And if you need to use the restroom real quick, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, we'll see you in your breakout room.
Yeah, most of everyone that just proposed some things. Good discussion. That was with the goals group. Lots of good ideas. And so the group is going to be meeting, disseminating a lot of that information that came about as a result of the conversation so that you can see what others have said as well as we move forward in looking at different incentives for kids. One announcement I forgot to make. We did a little room change with, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but this room now is the REIT 180 room that was in the 6th grade hallway. So please be mindful if you have activities going on in the cafeteria that are loud. We're using that room. And Mike Fearling. And the academic life folks that are on the side.
I learned so much there from Mike, just connected. I've never seen
So please be mindful, because with the Read 180 kids, they're kids that are struggling readers that need to really focus on the Read 180 program. Just wanted to mention that. And then Lauren Whitehead, she's not here, but she was here today. She's back teaching art on a Cougar team, and she'll be in the 6th grade hallway room across from Matt Elementary. And this is Austin's last day today, so let's say thank you for Austin. So let me put a plug in for Austin. If you're going to be absent, Austin will be subbing for us, so please consider him for if you're going to be out. He will be happy to fill in for you. So anything else that I missed that I promised I was going to announce? Okie doke. Well, thank you for your attention and your work today, and I will turn the mic over.